If you are one of the Excel users who has not yet learned the full potential of Xlookup function, then you are on the right place. When you are comparing VLOOKUP and Xlookup, just based on number of arguments, you can see that Xlookup is more versatile. Here we have just one optional argument, and with Xlookup you can enter 3 optional arguments, and we will explain them all. And stay to the end, and I will show you 3 extra tips that will take your Xlookup skill to completely different level. Let's start. Basic use of Xlookup is similar to VLOOKUP. Here we have just ID numbers, and we want to populate rest of the data. We can pull this data from another table, this one here, and this table doesn't need to be in the same sheet, it can be even in another workbook. Equals, Xlookup, you need to mark lookup value first, this one, comma, and now, next steps are different. In VLOOKUP you would need to mark entire array, and then to specify from which column to return the result. Here, that is not the case. Second argument is just to mark lookup array, where Excel will search for your value, comma, and third argument is to mark return array, from where result will be returned. In this case, we want the name of employee, so this is our return array. Excel will search for our lookup value, here in lookup array, and when the search item is found, result will be returned from return array, from the same row, where is our lookup value found. Now you can see how this will change your work with this function. No need to use index match combination anymore, or to restructure your table. Xlookup can return the result that is also on the left side of lookup array. If you are not marking entire column, just range of cells, like this, please keep in mind that you need to make absolute references here, so that references will not move when you are copying formula to other cells. Just press F4 to add $signs and it is done. We will not do that, because we marked entire columns, and references will stay the same. This is all you need to enter in majority of cases. Xlookup default setting is to search for exact value, so we can finish our formula here. Enter, copy down, and we have errors. Here, data was not found. Now Xlookup functionality comes in hand. Fourth argument is optional, and that means that you do not need to use it. But in this case, we will need it. And this argument is what to do if result is not found. We can put here, in quotation marks, no data. Enter, and copy down again. Much better. Before we continue, just to show you last 2 arguments that will expand functionality of Xlookup, if you would need it. Fifth argument you can put in if you want, is match mode. Default is exact match, so you don't need to put 0 if that is the case, but you can use these others if you would need them. Exact match or next smaller item, and so on. We need exact match, so 0 it is. And last, is search mode. Xlookup is always searching from first to last entry in the lookup array, but as you can see here, you can override this. We will leave it on 1 for now, to search from first to last. Enter. And one more thing before we go to tips. You can also forget about HLOOKUP. With this function you can do horizontal searches too. We want to find out what is the cost for December. Xlookup, select your search value, comma, mark the lookup array, this one here, with month names, comma, then return array, this one, with cost data, press enter and we have our result. Easy. And finally, 3 tips to get you to pro level with this function. Let's imagine that you have 2 different search lists, and you can't combine them, but both of them together have all the data you need. Let me explain, on this example. Data for this employees we have in another list, here in sheet called new employees. Double-click here to edit the formula, and instead of putting no data, you can enter here yet another Xlookup function, mark your lookup value, comma, and now go to your second list, mark lookup array, comma, mark return array, close the bracket, enter, copy down and it is done. Our formula has returned results from 2 different tables. Second tip is real-time saver. It happens that these numbers are formatted as text, and Xlookup will not recognize them. It will return all errors. There can be multiple reasons for this. You pulled data from another source, you are using someone else's data that is not formatted correctly, or something else. Now, reason is not relevant here. What is important is how to solve the problem easily. And resolution is to just add 0 to the array that is not formatted as number. In this situation this is lookup array, and Excel will format this as numbers in the background, while doing the search. Enter, copy down, and it is done. You don't need to reformat data in your search table anymore. Final tip is that you can return results from multiple columns. To show you what I mean by this, we need to populate data in this 2 columns. First and last name. With VLOOKUP you would need formula in both of these columns, but XLOOKUP is different. Mark your lookup value, comma, then mark your lookup array, comma, and for return array mark both columns. First name column and last name column. Press enter, copy down, and it is done with just one formula. Excel has returned result from 2 different columns. If you want to learn more about Excel, check out my other videos.